Hi, Instagram. Hi, Nadia. Oh my God, I like your sunflower, Nadia. Okay. So I want to, before you introduce my guest, and you're going to introduce yourself because I always love to hear you talk about who you are and what you do. I want to know that there is no echo for anybody. I hear a tiny, tiny echo. Just want to make sure. I'm just going to put my earphones down here. And maybe Tammy on your end, do you hear an echo? Sometimes what I ask you to do is to put the volume of your phone completely down. Yeah. Okay, cool. I hear an echo. In the comments, tell us if you hear an echo on Instagram or on Facebook. That would be awesome. Because I hear myself back. Let's see. I'm going to remove this. Here we go. Maybe it's better. No. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to bring you back.
That's better.
You hear me okay? Okay. So, Tammy, welcome.
Thank you.
The idea of this show here is to really invite all of you watching or watching the replay, or for some of you gonna listen to the podcast. I want you to connect with us because the idea behind this conversation is to really help you become visible. I really hear an echo big time, but if you don't hear it, there is an echo. Yeah, Nadia says. So what we're gonna do, because I don't want to spend too much time searching for the tech stuff. Nadia, and if you guys could come to Facebook or LinkedIn, join us because I don't want your voice, Tammy, to be covered with an echo. Okay, so let's meet on Facebook or LinkedIn. Ciao, ciao. We tried. We tried, Tammy. Yeah. Okay, I think it's going to be way better. Do you still hear me, Tammy?
Do I need these?
You good? You don't need that anymore because it's on your phone. Yeah. You should be good now.
So we're not on Insta. It's gone.
Yeah. We'll put it later.
So the volume is off on my phone, so I'll keep it off.
Okay, good. So Tammy, you are here today because the book is coming. It's called Visible, and it's a book with the 10 stories of my life that helped me to become visible. Because even if you think that I'm visible for some of you, because some people say, you're everywhere all the time. I am hiding too. And so Tammy is here today because for me, she is a woman whose journey is really a testimonial to what it looks like when you decide to use your story and decide that, oh, I'm going to share more of my story so that I can impact more people and I need to become visible with it. So Visible is online for sure, but also on stages. And Tammy, you're going to introduce yourself. You are a motivational speaker, but it's also in your own visibility towards yourself, because as you probably all know, when you're a woman entrepreneur embarking on the visibility journey, you're going to get to become hide in some corners of yourself inside of you that you're going to untangle so that you can become even more visible to your ideal client. So Tammy, welcome to Stepping into the Light series and to share with us your journey of visibility. So before we deep dive in, can you introduce yourself? Where do you speak? Where are you in the world, for those of us who are not where you and I live? And what do you do and who do you serve?
So I'm Tammy Ward. I'm just outside of Fredericton, New Brunswick in Canada. And I am a retired RCMP officer. I served for almost 24 years. So part of my visibility was just prior to leaving policing, I had thought about doing motivational speaking, sharing some of my story, what I'd been through. I retired. And then COVID went, think again. So I retired the week before COVID. So I lived at home with my dog. And so then I just kind of got sidetracked and still wanted to be visible, but not able to do as much. And then in December into January, I just decided it's time to go all in and just start marketing, improve my website, start applying to places to share my message, share my story, and just try to help people know that there's so much more available. And basically, for me, my biggest message is for women to know that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And when you want to do something, no matter what anyone tells you, you definitely can.
I love this. I love how you recap everything. So, can you bring us back, Tammy, to that moment of revelation? What happened? Is it something, someone, or a day, or an event that made you kind of sparked the shift of from staying hidden in your idea of having this project to stepping into the light and going full in, as you said?
So for me, it was just I've been kind of staying here on a nice level plateau and playing safe. Still doing a little bit, but not trying to get my name out. So it was more just I want more out of life. I want more than what I'm doing. Um, and I just know that there's so many people that we can help and we can serve. And society, especially for me talking about mental health, which is super important to me, is a topic that, especially since COVID, that people aren't discussing. And I think it's something that is paramount to everyone being healthy. It's a huge part of moving forward in a business, because if your mental health isn't strong or your self confidence isn't strong, we tend to play small. And I just decided I don't want to be small anymore.
And what does that look like to be small for you? Because it's different for everybody. But like, I'm just trying to help someone who is like, maybe like, playing a little too small, or starting to judge herself? What does it feel or taste like?
So for me, being small is being safe. Doing what I know and what I've always done is small and safe. So stepping outside that boundary. So for me, it was increasing my presence on social media, posting more often, starting to do reels and sharing a message, improving my LinkedIn and creating a page for Tammy Ward Speaks, so that people on LinkedIn know that's what I want to do and that is what I do. And then hiring someone to update and improve my website and start marketing myself. And then I reached out to places and said, hey, this is me. This is what I got, and you need me, as opposed to waiting for someone to find me in my house.
I love, oh my God, this is so good, so good. So let's go there, because what we hear often is like, yeah, but I'm not ready fully. I want maybe the website ready. I want this to be ready. And then at the end of the day, a year passed, 2 years passed, and you're never really ready. So how
Never.
did you embrace the power of imperfection, Tammy? Like how was it for you to be authentically yourself? And then, and how did that impacted your connection with people the first time you started to talk about what you are doing and what you want to do more of?
So a part of it was I had a coffee date with a friend that I hadn't seen since before COVID. And I was telling her some of what I've been doing and what I wanted to do. And she said to me basically, why aren't you? Like, you have so many stories and you've been through so many things. Why aren't you sharing this? Like, why aren't you? And then I kind of sat with that and I went, hell, why aren't I? Like, why aren't I? I don't have any good excuse why I'm not. I'm capable. I had I have no problem talking. So it was just started to put things in place. And I know that if I wait for everything to be perfect, nothing's going to be perfect, because everything is evolving. People are always going to be looking. People are planning a year in advance. So if I wait until I'm perfect, which will never happen, then I'll never be doing what I want to do, because I'll always be behind.
So how do you talk to yourself in those moments of doubts, or the moments where you're like, okay, am I really ready? Like, what would you share with some women entrepreneurs who could be listening right now and like, how do you handle the moments of doubts and you still go forward?
Two things. One, it's like, oh well, put your big girl panties on and just do it. And the other thing is that I honestly think that you can never say the wrong thing to the right people, and you can never say the right thing to the wrong people. So I'm not always going to be somebody's cup of tea. And that's okay because they can go get a cup of coffee. But you got to just do what you do. And those who resonate with you are going to engage and they're going to follow and they're going to like your message regardless. And people who don't like my message or don't connect with me or maybe aren't ready to listen to what I have to say, maybe it's not me that needs to be ready, it's them that needs to be ready to hear a message.
Oh, I love what you're saying, because that's something, I'm sure you experience this, but sometimes it feels that someone is against you or doesn't like what you do, and it sounds like this. And then 1 year later, you see the same person. They don't even ask you a question. They hire you on the spot. And you're like, what? What
Yeah,
happened?
I'm still me.
Yeah. So I love this because it will happen. Your voice, your message gonna, how do you say that? Ruffle some feathers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And those people, when they hear you, they might not receive it the way you would like them to receive it. And
Mhm.
that's learning to be okay with this, because everybody's at their own level in their journey of, development, personal development, healing, and all those things. Have you experienced something like that?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Lots of times. And sometimes it's the you learn in your discomfort. There's lessons there. And sometimes I need to sit and like, why am I afraid to share? Why am I afraid to talk? Why won't I? Because I have days where it's like, I don't post anything on social media. I have tons of ideas, but I don't do it. So I still, sometimes you just need to get out of your own way and do things.
Do you have a tip to get out of your own way? Is there something that works for you that could serve someone?
Sometimes if you're going to get all purdied up, it's a great time to sit down and do a whole bunch of videos or a whole bunch of work. And then you can cut and use it when you need to, because there's days where you're not going to feel like talking. There's days where you don't want to get dressed and look pretty. You just want to be comfy in your sweatpants. So sometimes preparing a lot of things in advance or having somebody that you can bounce ideas off of, because that's really helpful to tweak things or to tell somebody what you're thinking. And then that conversation leads to even better ideas or clarity to get that message across to more people.
Love it, love it. Can you share with us maybe a strategy or a tactic or something you did using online marketing or other type of marketing that really helped grow your audience and your revenue, or you got gigs out of it? Is there something that works well for you that you're willing to share with us to give ideas?
So for me, a couple of the things is I was just went on Instagram and did some reels and did a few lives. The lives in particular where I just had a message and I shared my message and I talked. I did one on Facebook where it was on nutrition because that's kind of something else I really love. And I was just sharing some of the information that I had learned and I went live. So people started bing, 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 bing questions. And my like 5 minute little thing ended up being, I think, over 20 minutes. And I just kept answering questions. So it was really interesting and really helped promote what I do.
Love it. So you do live videos. That's your kind of your go-to. Either how do you choose your topic? Like how do you start a live video? Is there a specific way you do it, or you just go with whatever the topic of the week is?
Whatever the topic of the week is, also sometimes for me, things will just come up. I'll have an idea. I'll be listening to a podcast, I'll be reading an article, and then I'll just have an insight, or, oh, I kind of like that, but for me, this is what that would mean. And then I would just share upon that. And sometimes I keep my phone by my bed, or I use the notes in my phone a lot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, good idea. And then I just say it in my phone. And then I'll come back to it later and I'll put it into something. I'll wordsmith it later. But whenever an idea comes, no matter how rough it is, I just make sure I capture it, because those are the best messages. Those are when you're the most clear. Like sometimes when I'm driving, is I just have time to think. And it's like, oh, gotta say this. So I talk to my phone, because you can't write when you drive. So I talk.
Yeah, I love those tips, because this is about, and it's actually one of the chapter of my book, is how do you learn to listen to your intuition and practice it? Because it's one thing to say it, but the more you're going to be in touch with that idea, that inspiration, and then, as you say, it's always the content that really gonna, I'll say, like, gonna kill the screen the most, because it comes from your soul, it comes from inside, right? So the more you practice that, and I love that you use your phone and you record. Do you use a special app? What do you use on your phone to record your ideas?
Just the notes.
The notes, like on a Apple iPhone.
Notes. Yeah, I just put it in the notes, and I'll just talk to text. Sometimes it's pretty funny, because you go back and go, oh my gosh, Siri, that's not what I said. But then you just kind of, switch some words around or edit properly. And I find sometimes too, like, as long as you're genuine and when you're sharing from an experience, I think people relate better than, just I read a book and I learned this. It's so much different than I went through this, I experienced this, and this is how I can help you if you are going through what I've gone through or a similar path.
I love it. Yeah, storytelling is, the spine of marketing. So, either before I go to my next question, what is your favorite story that you like to share with your audience, that you would like to share today? Like, what is one of your top stories that always really carry the message of what you do and what shaped your business?
Oh, quite a few. So one of the ones that I like to share is when I talk about motivation and I talk about believing in yourself and trusting what you want. So I always tell people, if I listened to things that people told me I couldn't do, I would never have had the career or the life I've had. So that's huge. And like for me, when I was thinking of policing, it was just a boyfriend at the time and his friends were writing all the exams and said how hard it was. And I said, oh, I should write that too. And I was told I was too little, that I'd never get in. So I'm stubborn. If you tell me I can't do something, I'll do it twice. So I applied, I passed, and I just kept going through all the stages. And then I was accepted and I went to policing, and then I had a 24-year career, which had I listened to other people, even when I was in training, I had an instructor who wasn't so kind to the women that were on my course. Had I listened to him, I would have given up. And a few times within my career, had I listened to men that told me I couldn't, I would have quit. I would never have had the life I had.
What's your favorite song speaking to that point?
Oh, dear. My favorite song.
I love that story. I heard that story before, and I love how this is so powerful, because it's kind of what build your life. Like, this is just amazing. So the message is like, don't give up, no matter what the external circumstances, building a business, for example, and whatever is outside of that project you have, or growing the business, don't give up. And then surround yourself. Listen to podcasts and videos like the one we do. In terms of support, like building your business, sharing your message, what works best for you that you've found in your career as a motivational speaker, Tammy? Where do you find the support?
With like-minded people, with strong women that also have goals. Most of them are different than mine, but just having somebody that believes in you, that you can bounce anything off of, and cheerleaders, like people that believe in you and just say, I believe in you, go for it. And I think that is something that most women need, is just to have that support.
And what was the biggest message? Oh, bless you.
Hello.
What would be the biggest message you would pass to your past self, knowing what you know now? What advice would you give to your past self at the beginning of your visibility journey?
Oh, that it gets easier, and that just keep going. Like, don't stop. Don't take the breaks I took. Don't have the doubt I had. Just do it. One of my big things that I need to do for myself to be organized. I find when I'm organized and I have my to-do list and I just go through it, I get so much more done than when I think, okay, I got to do stuff. And then I'm just kind of all over the map. So I like to take 5-10 minutes every night and I pre-plan my next day and I time block. This is the time that I'm working. This is the time that I'm going to go for a walk. This is the time I'm going to go to the gym. Like, I block my time as much as possible. Life happens. It doesn't always work. But I find if I create somewhat of a schedule, I tend to get a lot more done than just waking up and going, okay, I'm going to work today with no list or no, concrete set of things I want done.
Awesome. So before we wrap up, I would love to ask you a question, Tammy. The book I'm writing is called Visible, and I use Visible as an acronym. Your voice, your ideas, your stories of life, your irresistible offers, your belief, your leadership, and your expertise. If you were to pick one of those words, which one would you pick today and why?
Ooh. Oh my gosh, that's hard because so many of them mean something to me. I think right now a lot of things for me have revolved around leadership. And part of leadership is not only to be led, but to help others. And that can be like being involved in our Women in Business, which we both are. And that's just being there supporting other women and engaging. And that's sometimes we're helping, sometimes we're being helped, or we're learning. So leadership, I think, would be really strong for me, and trying to be a good role model for other women to be strong and be assertive in terms of speaking up, and leading by that example, as opposed to playing small and not speaking up. So if you see something wrong, if you don't say anything, it's the same as doing it. So if you see something wrong, you need to have a voice, and you need to use that voice and speak up. And I think that has a lot to do with being a leader.
Love it. Tammy, if someone wants to hire you for a speaking gig, a motivational speech for their organization or retreat or whatever, because you speak on different stages, how do they reach you? What's the best way?
If they go on my website, which is tammywardspeaks.com, there's an intake form right there. Or they can email me, which is tammywardspeaks@gmail.com, or message me through Instagram, which is Your Truth Lies Within, which is my business name.
Yeah, I put the link is in the description around the video, and we'll be transferring this video on Instagram as well later because of our tech difficulty. But Tammy, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else that I didn't ask that you'd like to share around your visibility and the visibility of women entrepreneurs?
Mainly, I think just women need to support each other, and don't be afraid to be the woman who steps up and congratulates another woman, or post something when you see another woman achieve something, share it. Like, we need to collectively lift each other up. And I think as women, we have the power to do that, and being in circles or in sistership and just helping each other, I think we'll all do so much better. And that would be my biggest message, is just help each other, engage in each other's activities, and share our content, share our names, share what we do, and just, build each other.
Thank you so much. So Tammy, I'll let you know when the book is out because I'm one of the you part of the group that I'm gonna share the link as soon as it's out because I think you embody that message so much. And so well, thank you so much for joining me here and
Thank you.
taking the time to share your voice and your message. And please, when you watch the replay, let us know in the comments if there's something that really hit you. Tell us because this is how we know first who's watching and how we can even help you even more, as Tammy was saying, because you never know. If you don't say anything, nothing's gonna change. If you show up and you speak out, speak up and share your voice, then you never know where comments can get you.
Yeah. And the other big thing is I always tell people there's some days where it's okay not to be okay. And when you're not okay, to use your voice to find other people who can support or lift you up. Because I find too many people, everything on social media looks so pretty. We don't post pictures when we burn the cookies, right? We only post pictures when they look great. And so I find a lot of people are comparing themselves to that. And I just want people to know that we all have days that are crappy and that it's okay not to be okay.
That's a perfect ending. Thank you so much. And share away as well. If you think that message could inspire someone, share away, tag Tammy, tag me, so that we can go even further together. Thank you so much, Tammy.
Thank
And
you.
see you around. Stay in the backstage for a minute with me.
Definitely. Thanks.